Okay, so the next question, question number 18, it's another word problem. A spiral is made up of successive semicircles with centers alternatively at A and B, starting with center A of radii 0.5 centimeter, then 1 centimeter, 1.5 as shown in the figure. What is the total length of such spiral made up of 13 consecutive semicircles? So first let us try to understand the diagram here. They're talking about spiral. So the shape of spiral is like this. Alright, so we have the diagram given in the question. What you're doing, first you're taking center A, and using the center A, you're drawing the first spiral. Now alternatively you're drawing spiral. So now you're taking center B. So using center B, you're continuing this spiral. Okay, now what you're doing, you're changing the centers alternatively. So now you're taking center A again and drawing this spiral. Now you're taking center B and drawing another spiral. So this will be equals to this. Now you're taking center A and drawing this spiral. So the radiuses, this is 0.5, then this will become again 1 centimeter. The radiuses of the spirals are changing from 0.5, 1 centimeter and so on. There are 13 such consecutive spirals. So they're talking about n equals to 13 semicircles. We need to find the total length of such spiral. The total length, meaning this length plus this length. So if you observe, this length of the spiral is nothing but, they're talking about circumference of the circle. These are semicircles here. Okay, this is a semicircle, this is a semicircle. See, for a circle, the circumference is given as 2 pi r. For a semicircle, 2 pi r by 2 will give you just pi r. So pi r is a circumference for each of them. Let us say your first circumference is like pi r1, second one is pi r2. So pi r1, so r1 is 0.5 centimeter. Second one, pi r2. Third one, the radius is 1.5 centimeter, and so on, pi into 2. So that's how you form an AP here. These are the circumferences. So this pi r is this circumference. Pi into 1 is this circumference. You're doing pi r because it's a semicircle. 2 pi r is for a circle, pi r is for a semicircle. Alright. So this is how we form the AP. And there are n, how many number of terms here? N has 13 terms. So here, if you look, 0.5 pi becomes the first term. The common difference is pi minus 0.5 pi. Common difference is pi minus 0.5 pi. So this is pi, nothing but 1 pi. 1 pi minus 0.5 pi is 0.5 pi itself. Right? It's like 1 into pi. 1 pi minus 0.5 pi will give you 0.5 pi. Okay. So we know A, we know D, we know the number of terms. They are asking the sum of the length of these spirals. How many times? 13 times. That means they are asking S13. So S13 will use this formula. 13 by 2, n by 2, 2a. So 2 into a plus n minus 1, 3 minus 1 into common difference, which is 0.5 pi. So this will give you 13 by 2. This is 1 pi. This is 12 into 0.5, 6 pi. So 6 pi, 1 pi, 7 pi. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll substitute pi value. 7 into, see, pi value, if in the question, if it is not given, like in this, they have given as pi as 22 by 7. So you should always check at the end if the value is given or not. If the value is given, definitely you should take that value. If the value of pi was not given, then you should take by default as 22 by 7. Okay, in this question, anyways, the value of pi was given as 22 by 7 in the question. So I substitute pi value as 22 by 7 and I simplify. This 7 and 7 cancels out, this 2, 11 times. So 13 into 11 will give you 143. Alright, now the question is, we are finding the total length of such spiral, meaning the circumference. And the circumference we should put with the unit. Here the radii, it's 0.5 centimeter, it's in centimeter. So the circumference should also be in centimeter. So it's very important that in word problems you're always writing the answer, the final answer, with the right units. In the boards, they do cut mark if the right unit is not put up in the final answer. Okay, I hope this solution is understood. So the next question, question number 19. Question says, 200 logs are stacked in the following manner. So there are 200 logs in total. 20 logs in the bottom row, 19 in the next row. So there are 200 logs in total. So first of all, I'll write the sum as 200 because there are total 200 logs. Now these logs, there are 20 logs in the bottom row. So let us say this is the bottom row. There are 20 logs. 19 in the next row. 19 in the next row. 18 and so on. 18 here and so on. Alright. In how many rows are the 200 logs placed and how many logs are in the top row? So like this, we have the top row here. We don't know how many logs are there here. So if you see, starting from the bottom, 20, then we have 19 logs here, then 18 and so on. So the question is, what are they asking? How many rows are there? So how many rows here? That means they're asking the value of n. So n is equals to question mark. And what they have given the sum of these n rows, the number of logs in the n rows, that is given as 200. Now this AP we can form looking at the condition. So 20, 19, 18 and so on is the AP. So here I can say the first term is 20. The common difference 19 minus 20 is minus 1. It's decreasing. The number of logs per row is decreasing. Okay. So the first thing they're asking is in the question, how many rows are there? So n. And how many logs are in the top row? So according to this sequence, here, meaning the nth term they're asking. They're asking the last term. So the question is an value also with a question mark. Understood? When they say, when the question is how many logs are in the top row. So top row with respect to the sequence is nothing but the last term, which is an. Okay. So this is what is given. Sn is equal to 200. So we'll use that condition. Sn I'll use this formula. N by 2. We don't know the number of rows here. So n by 2, 2a. So 2 into 20. A is 20 plus n minus 1 into the common difference value is minus 1. So this value Sn, I have used the formula, is equal to 200. I'll simplify. N by 2, 40. This minus 1 I'll multiply with n minus 1. So minus n plus 1 is what I'll get, is equals to 200. So I'll get n by 2, 41 minus n is equals to 200. Okay, so this 2 is in the denominator. So when it goes to the other side, it goes to the numerator. Cross multiplication basically. And this n I'll multiply inside. So inside I'll get 41n minus n square is equals to this 2 gets cross multiplied. We get 400. Now 41n minus n square, I'll take these two terms to the other side. Minus n square will become n square plus 41n become minus 41n. This is plus 400 as it is. So you have a quadratic equation here. So this quadratic equation we need to factorize. Okay, we need to solve them using any one of the three methods. So here in this, maybe we'll use quadratic formula method. So quadratic formula, the answer, how do you get? X is equals to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. This you learn in the chapter quadratic equations. Okay, so here I'll directly use the formula. I'll write it down here. N is equals to minus b. So minus 41 will come plus 41 root of b square. So b is 41, so 41 square. B square minus 4 ac. A is 1, c is 400. Whole divided by 2a. So 2 into 1, which is 2 itself. So we just simplify further. So 41 plus or minus 41 square. So 41 square I'll quickly find. So we'll get 1681 root of 1681 minus, this is going to give you 1600. whole divided by 2. So this is 41 plus or minus 1681 minus 1600 will give you 81. Square root of 81 is 9 by 2 is n. So once you take plus n, once you take minus. So 41 plus 9, 50 by 2. 41 minus 9, 32 by 2, 60. Okay, so here in this question, you're getting two values of n. Okay, which is quite possible. If it was not a word problem, there could have been two values of n because you're getting a natural number value. Alright, in this question, there's only one value of n which is possible, which is going to be 16. N equals to 25 wouldn't be possible. What is the reason? Is because, see, the number of logs are decreasing here. Okay, so from 20, 19, 18, let us say up to 16 terms. Okay, up to 16 terms, you will have, let us say, how many? I'll find A16 here, let us say quickly. A16 will be A plus 15D. A plus 15 into D value is minus 1. So that will give you 5. That means there are 5 logs in the 16th row here. Understood? So we know there are 5 logs in the 16th row. Now what happens from here? It will reduce to 4, 3, 2, 1. But of course, the number of logs cannot become minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So that is why this 25 you're getting. What happens here? Let's say if I continue. So this is n equals to 16. Correct? This is A16, the 16th term. Now from 17th term, I get 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. Okay, this is 16th term, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22. Now 22 terms, 22nd term, as you can see, is becoming negative, which is not possible because the number of logs in a row cannot be negative. What's happening is n equals to 25. These many terms values are cancelling with these values. So your total number of logs value still comes as 200 itself. Okay, so in this question, there is only one value of n possible, which is going to be 16, not 25. I hope you have understood. If you have any question or doubt with respect to this question, you can ask in the comments below. So now the last question of this exercise, question number 20. The question is, in a potato race, a bucket is placed at the starting point, which is 5 meters from the first potato. So there is a bucket. I'll draw the diagram quickly. There is a bucket, and from the bucket, this distance is 5 meters. A bucket is placed at the starting point 5 meters from the first potato. So we are having the first potato, let's say, at this place, and the other potatoes are placed 3 meters apart. So from here to here, then here, and then here. So this is 3 meters each. 3 meters, 3 meters. So this distance is 5 meters, and then from first to second, second to third, and so on, it's at a distance of 3 meters each. Okay, there are 10 potatoes in the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Lastly, we will have this last potato. Okay, so n becomes 10 because there are 10 potatoes. A competitor starts from the bucket, picks up the nearest potato, runs back with it, drops into the bucket, runs back to pick up the next potato. Okay, so a competitor runs from the bucket. So what's happening? The competitor runs from here, picks up this potato and brings it back here. Again goes back here, comes back, keeps it here. Alright, so that way he does it for first, second, third, up to 10 potatoes. The question is, what is the total distance the competitor has to run? So the total distance competitor has to run. So first time, how much distance is the competitor running? 5 meters coming here, 5 meters coming back. So 10 meters in total. So for the second potato from here, this is 8 meters. So 8 meters going, 8 meters coming back. So 16. For the third potato, so 5 plus 3, 8 plus 3, 11. So 11 meters while going and 11 meters while coming back. So 22 meters. And so on up to because there are 10 potatoes, so the competitor would be going 10 times like this. So I would say up to 10 terms. N is 10 here. And from the AP, once we have the AP, we can write down the first term and we can write down the common difference, 16 minus 10. The question is, they're asking the total distance traveled. So first time the competitor has traveled 10 meters, second time 16 meters, third time 22 meters, fourth time so many. So in total you have to find the sum of these distances traveled to pick up each of the potatoes. So you have to find S10 basically. So S10 is using this formula n by 2. So 10 by 2, 2a. So 2 into 10 plus n minus 1. N is 10. So 10 minus 1, 9. Common difference, 6. So this distance you are supposed to find. So this will give you 5. You get 20 plus 6 into 9, 54. So this is going to be 74. 74 into 5 is going to be 370. Again, here, this is, they're talking about what is the total distance the competitor has to run. So this is in meters we're talking about. So the total distance, you should definitely put with the units. It's very important again. For word problems, make sure the final answer you're writing with the right units. So 370 meter is the total distance traveled by the competitor. This is how we solve this question. Okay, so I hope you have understood this exercise and even the last two exercises where I had explained the concepts. We had done the solve examples. We've done each and every exercise questions. I hope you have gone through each of my other videos as well. If you have any questions or doubts, please make sure you're asking in the comments below. I'll try to reply back to each of your queries. Okay. If this video and the other videos, whichever you have watched, were useful to you, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Okay, this does encourage me. When you give it a thumbs up, I get to know that okay, people are watching and the videos are helpful to my students. Okay, I'll catch you guys in my next videos. Thank you for watching.